This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on his own. Jamie Conlan joins me.
Oscar.
What's happening, mate?
All good, mate. How's things?
Good. I see you chilling with Dana White, getting married, just doing loads of low-key shit.
Yeah, busy enough summer. Now we're into the winter. Finally getting to see Harlem Eubank in the ring. It's been over a year now, and a long, hard year at that. Plenty of backroom chatter till we get to this point. Now it's just about getting in, performing, and setting up a big 2025.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing Harlem do the business tomorrow night. He's just over there listening in. I know you boys have been playing Undisputed whilst I was talking to Harlem. And can we shout out the fact that you absolutely pieced up a bass with Roy Jones?
If anyone doesn't know a bass brew, he's just...
shit Undisputed?
Shit at Undisputed. Right. Some German fella, everyone needs to know that he's shit at Undisputed and shit at chess. First time playing it. Very, very good. All the kids in the room enjoyed it.
I refuse to believe it was your first time playing it when you were doing Ollie shuffles, switching stances.
It was all by accident. Figured it out halfway through.
Just smash the buttons and see what happens.
Smash the buttons, see what happens. And yeah, brilliant. Great game.
Beating people at chess and Undisputed, just coming in and throwing your weight around.
Yeah, Fight Week is kicking off nicely. Now we've just got to finish with Harlem, doing the job tomorrow.
You talk about all these kind of backroom discussions that you're having, and I know no one will be more frustrated than Harlem himself. But it must be quite frustrating when there's conversations that have been had, obviously conversations that need to be had as well, but conversations that have been had, fights that people have put into you, and yet there's still been no fights. You must have just been waiting for this day for so long.
Yeah. The DAZN fight obviously was in the works. They was trying to figure out how to they reignited it when it kind of went off the grid, and then doing the deal with Wasserman, that was a bit of a process. But Wasserman, I think, have been a fantastic kind of partner in the Harlem Eubank saga, and continuing on with them is what just felt right. And even then, when the fight fell through, the show fell through in Bolton, it was immediately within 24 hours we had already figured it right in Newcastle. Here we go, November, everything's okay, just continuing on with the process. But after the year we'd been through, with a few different fights falling through potentially for Harlem, it would have been hard for the whole team, Charlie and Harlem, to think this is another one's going to come through and we're not going to be fighting until next year. But thankfully, kind of Wasserman, they are on board and really behind Harlem Newbank, and together everyone was trying to pull through to get this big show in Newcastle happening. Yeah.
Just in terms of the Adam Azim, I don't want to use the word saga, but I feel like there's a few fights, and I can't name any off the top of my head, but there's a few fights where we've seen fighters go head to head and it's never actually happened. I feel like that's one that when Adam Azim reaches that world level, if he does, and when Harlem reaches that world level, we'll kind of potentially look and be like, do you remember when those two are meant to fight each other? Pictures of them going head to head, and yet they never step foot in the ring.
Yeah, true, yeah. Macklin, Darren Barker and stuff like that, did they even go head to head? They had the round table, Martin Murray. But I think their names now are intertwined, and even after Harlem wins tomorrow night, people will ask about Azim, and same way they did on the broadcast with Sky when Azim actually looked fantastic last time out, and that's against OD. So it's good. It's good for both careers. It's good. Listen, it didn't happen, and in hindsight, probably is made the fight bigger, and made potential fights bigger because they're now attached to each other, and hopefully it's a fight that can be done down the line.
Yeah. I think it's a good time obviously it's a brilliant time when people actually care for these fights. The fact that when you mention Harlem Eubank, there's two names specifically that stand out as fights people want to make. Now, I guess you don't want to go on about them too much. I know people will ask, but it's better that there's people interested rather than people putting absolutely no one forward.
Yeah, it is all right. Listen, you need a dance partner. In this sport, it's very, very hard to kind of continue on your own and carry the flag on your own. You always need to have people along the way to bounce off, have fights with, have rivalry with. It enhances your profile as well as the others. So it is good. It shows the value in Harlem when you have other fighters attaching their name to his, and the flip side, him attaching his name to theirs. So it's very, very good and builds profile between all involved.
Yeah. What sort of performance do you want to see from Harlem tomorrow? Obviously, the most important thing is walking away victorious. I mean, walking away of anything but would be really disappointing. But in terms of the actual performance, What do you want to see, and what do you think the division perhaps need to see as well?
Well, it's his first fight at 147, so we wanted to test with a good, strong, physical, come-forward fighter, which the French guy is. And I'm going to try and say his name, but what he kind of brings to the table is in your face. He's going to be putting Harlem under severe pressure from the first second, and it's the first time in feeling the physicality of a legit welterweight. So I want to see how he handles that, copes with that, adapts to that, adjusts to that, and then annihilates that, essentially. Being able to turn it around and show what his class is, his feet, his speed, and show what attributes he's going to bring from 140, 147. But also want him to feel what it feels like at 147 before we step up with the bigger names. So there is a method to the madness. This is a tough fight. Former French champion, coming with full team, full of excitement, plenty of time, plenty of notice. Yeah, confidence as well coming in most likely. But he's only been beat 3 times. And this is kind of Harlem's a year out, potential for ring rust, potential for the year of ups and downs that he had, fighting, not fighting, preparing, not preparing, and kind of a year in the ring of learning. So it's about learning putting what he learnt in the ring for that year into the process tomorrow night against a legit welterweight for the first time in his career.
Yeah. And beyond that, I am going to bring up again, just like I've done with Harlem, Conor Ben. When you saw that he was cleared, obviously I was out in Philly and the news come out, and obviously Eddie, Matchroom, and then Conor come out, and everyone was kind of really excited. I guess you could say things are a little bit the same in that, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go and see Conor fight in the next month or 2 months or so. But just seeing that statement put out, I guess for people who are whose names are in and around Conor's, I guess it's quite good news in the sense it's a bit of a green light to like, yeah, we can negotiate and things like that. Is that how you saw that?
Yeah, I'm not overly sure of what, like I know everyone came out and were saying things, but I don't know the substance behind it, and I haven't really looked into the substance behind it. I get the lip service that he's cleared, and I'm not sure who's cleared him and not cleared him, and was there an appeals process with the British Boxing Board? I'm not fully sure of what happened in the end. It did seem like, you know, the guys were happy, the Matchroom were happy, he was happy, and it seems like it's a green light and an open door to potentially do junior and fights like that, or the Riyadh season fights. But until kind of you see him in the ring or actually see something being announced that he is fighting, it's all the same. Like, you can't really focus on him. He is a big name and an attractive name, like for the likes of Harlem. The Eubank and Ben name will always be intertwined and locked together, whether it be with Junior, whether it be with Harlem. No, Harlem still has to, as we said before when we just saying with Wasserman, he has to prove his worth to be in the mix. And this is the first step until proving they can get in that. We're looking at something in Brighton early part of next year. All being well, he comes through this with flying colours. We can go to Brighton, can do something with another step up, which hopefully then puts us in the mix with the big fights.
Yeah. Just in terms of Conor and Chris, do you feel like it's a fight we need to see just to be able to draw a line under it? I mean, in those 2 years, there's been words said. There will never not be bad blood, but I feel like the tension has increased. It was a nightmare, October 2 years ago, pulling that fight on fight week and kind of the consequences. It's been one of the biggest British boxing stories. Do we just need to see that, do you think? Just so we can go, right, you come out on top in that saga, draw a line.
Yes and no. The point of me, yes, everyone, like I bought into it. You were sucked into that week. At the start, I thought it was a bit of a gimmick. I thought he's too small, he's too big, and it's a one-man beating. But as it got closer, the PR machine Matchroom put on, the Ben machine, the Ben PR machine that came with it, I started to get intrigued and really interested in the fight. And then when he popped for doping, there's a part of me that will never change, that he should never box, regardless. If you're popped, you should never be allowed to fight. And how can we actively be proactive in this sport without severe consequences of letting someone get away with doing it, coming back, earning a lot of money? Like, it's, yeah, you know, there is a fact that he has this case as well, that he states that he's innocent, and whatever his dossier of pages that he sent into the board and sent into VAD and all these places like that. You know, till you know the full story, it's very hard to judge, but, you You know, yeah, there's part of me who likes to see it because I get sucked into the PR machine, but then there's a moral part of me goes, he should never be allowed to fight again.
Yeah. Well, we'll swerve away from that for now. Big plans for Harlem in 2025, obviously tomorrow to do first. And like I said, I'm really excited, and I know a lot of people are to see him get back in the ring and do his thing. It's been way too long. Right. Can we talk about John Fury the other day? What did you make when you saw the announcement of Tommy Fury versus Darren Till first? Which I have to say, they've done an incredible job of keeping quiet, because normally things seem to seep through the net. But I think when that come out, people went, whoa. And from speaking to Conlan, they've been working on that for quite a while, so I managed to keep it quite quiet. Tommy Fury, Darren Till, what do you think?
I think Till flattens him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think Darren Till, like he said the other day, is a bad man.
With a kick? With a kick or a punch?
Listen, you see him in the gym, he can fight, man. He's a legit fighting man. And I am very surprised Tommy Fury's took it. Probably, you know, you do look at the basic stances and you know, the basic fundamentals of boxing, which you kind of can say, well, Till doesn't have, but Till can punch with either hand. He is legitimate. He's a bad fucker. He can go. He's a tough man. He's a hard man. And I don't think Tommy's about that life. Like Big John, well, he called him Little John, but Big John is about that life and had to come in and protect him, because I think like Darren is a legit fighter, legit hard man, and I just...
Do you think there was that real intimidation factor about Darren in that press conference?
Oh, 1,000,000%. That's why John had to intervene. That's why he had to protect his son, because he knows that's a man. That's an alpha in the room. Like he's there, no fucking about. And the Rustler's Burger comment, the meme thing they put out when he's just shadowboxing, bit of a pop belly in his track bottoms, doesn't give a fuck, just throwing his hands messed around. Like that's Darren Till, like, you know. But that's not really Darren Till, because I've seen him in the gym with Jim McNally and Dak O'Rourke, and they are trying to manoeuvre that basic fundamentals that he's learned in the MMA game over to trying to figure out how he puts it into the boxing game. He's always been a heavy-hitting stand-up fighter in the UFC and in MMA, but it is a different, you know, you're protecting for kicks, your leg stance is different, your movement is different, your hand position is different because you're trying to block the low kick as well as the coming high kick, as well as shooting for the takedown. But that power doesn't leave you, you know, and I don't think Tommy has got the unbelievable fundamentals of like someone who's went through the whole amateur system and is a very good pro. So it does even itself out. I'm intrigued. I don't usually get intrigued about these crossover fights or these fights that not necessarily classified as boxing, but as misfits.
I guess this one is different because it is two fighters. I know Tommy has the influencer profile as well, but he's a fighter,
legitimate boxer. Yeah. So like, this one has really intrigued me, and it's one where I think you can really gauge between the two worlds that who is it, like here comes out beating Jake Paul, and stuff like our KSI. Like, yeah, okay, but beating Darren Till, if he beats Darren Till, he deserves all the credibility in the world, and because he's not going to go down easy. And yesterday was not, like 2 days ago, whenever it was, that was definitely not staged, because that's two rockets there, John Fury and Darren Till, and that's just going to cause fucking fireworks. Like, so yeah, very intrigued. Actually, I had said to Nissa, make sure you have a ticket for me, because it's something I want to go to. And Lee nearly let it slip the other week. He'd said something and just zipped it back, but you could tell he was working on it for a long while, and fair play to him to getting over the line. Yeah. Shout
out to Lee Eaton, who has now seemed to have a little bit of control in every single big fight. Yeah, there ain't anywhere where Lee Eaton
the English turkey Al Sheikh, isn't he? Lee Eaton. People get up and start thanking His Excellency Lee Eaton.
H.E. Lee Eaton.
Yeah, Lee always eating. So it's brilliant. No, delighted for all involved. Like, and it's great to see, and it's piqued the interest. Like.
Yeah, definitely one of the busiest men in boxing, Lee. I will say one thing. From the bits you've seen of Darren Till in the gym, like you said, with Joe McNally and Dak O'Rourke, you must have seen a bit of this as well. I feel like afterwards I saw Darren outside of the room where the press conference was, and he went from what seemed being like an unhinged character to being able to just laugh it off, as in there was that complete switch of emotion.
Psychopath.
Just like, took the words out of my mouth, but I didn't kind of want to say it. Like cold.
Yeah, he's sick.
Cold.
Yeah. That's why he's legit, man. Don't fuck with him. So yeah, he's just nuts anyway. Like he is nuts. So yeah, I'm very excited. When they said he was doing it, when he was getting in the boxing and talking about Rocky Fielding and all these kind of fights that he was murmuring for, and he was going to fight Julio Cesar Chavez. So that's when I had seen him in the gym preparing for Chavez. Yeah, and he's just one. He just doesn't give a shit, man. And because he knows, like as he said the other day, like no one fears me because he's been in the MMA world where there's various different ways to beat you, where we only know one way in terms of stand-up boxing. He can do it any other way. Now, hopefully, he doesn't overlook that aspect of it in Tommy Fury, but it's very intriguing.
Yeah, mate, can't wait. Bring on early January. That takes me on to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Did you watch it live?
No, I haven't watched it still, no.
Have you not?
No, I refuse to, man.
Yeah.
The only thing I've seen is Mike walking about with his arse out with the assless chaps on. Like, unbelievable.
I don't know if it's true, but I heard someone say on the broadcast that that's how Mike spars.
Fuck off.
I swear to God.
Nah. No. P. Diddy.
I was going to say, I'm not sure about seeing Mike's bare arse at 5 a.m. on the box, but
Nah,
yeah.
I couldn't. Not for me. Nah.
Was it just kind of like something you wanted to stand on? Like you couldn't because of, I guess, the
I
memories.
watched Katy and Serrano, and then I was like, nah, I'm not watching anything else. No. I didn't, not live. I watched it the next day because that was unbelievable. But I didn't watch. No, ruins the nostalgia of Mike Tyson for you. Like, I get it. Fair play to them. Unbelievable.
So you're not sitting here kind of slating it or hating on it?
No, it is what it is. I compartmentalize, whatever I can say word, the difference. The boys made 11. They made a massive cash-in run, like, and fair play them. Mike comes away okay, doesn't get fucking annihilated by some YouTube teeny bopper, and Jake Paul, the cash cow, comes away with a massive ego, more days ahead. And Mike potentially could, hopefully never does, but again, sets himself up potentially doing it again. Like it's win-win for both of them. And just, yeah, I don't even know how it went. I just know he looked all of 58 or wherever he was, and Jake Paul looked all of the YouTuber that he was as well. So, fair play.
Yeah. So you're not kind of waiting around for Jake Paul, Beterbiev, or Jake Paul Dubois?
I don't buy all that shit. No one is. They're not either. They're not. He's not stupid, man.
Do you reckon people are calling it out on Jake? Because I know obviously he called for Canelo Alvarez or said one day I will fight Canelo, and I know Canelo's not going to turn around and be like fine and give him the green light. But do you think perhaps someone like Beterbiev or Dubois wanted to stick it on Jake and be like, look, I see I can make a lot of money out of this guy. Let's actually see if he's really got the bollocks to come and step in with, because they're two of the most dangerous men in the sport.
What do you make out of it? Like, do you devalue the champion who is doing that in terms of putting, or do you see it just simply transactional? He's just looking to cash in or make a few quid. It's not about his pride, his honour of being a professional champion, world champion.
Well, I look at it and see that if it was Artur Beterbiev, 21 victories, 20 knockouts. If he was to fight Jake Paul, it would be potentially the most money he's ever made, barring what he might have got for Dimitri Bivol. But in and around the most money he would have made for his easiest ever professional fight.
But listen, he's already won. The fact that me and you are sitting here on a fight week for Harlem Eubank on Channel 5, talking on the Stamping Ground, on DAZN, we are talking about what happens if Jake Paul fights Artur Beterbiev. We're not talking about what happens if Canelo.
What's happened to us?
You know, we have fell down the rabbit hole, and he has won. Yeah. He has corrupted the minds of the hardcore boxing fans already to think, oh, why the fight Daniel Dubois and you prick? Why did we care? Don't care.
Dad, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
I've let you down.
Yeah. So this is he's won, man. He has changed the game. Has he created a new demographic? No. Because I don't think the younger generation actually are getting from Jake Paul to fucking Callum Simpson on Sky Sports. They're not tuning in to both. They are watching Jake Paul, and then they're turning off and going and playing Roblox or whatever the fuck kids who watch Jake Paul do. So yeah, that's he's won the game.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they would have watched Katy Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Mate, them two, they've got the recipe, them two, for entertainment, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I know she had some choice words for Katy afterwards, but fair play to Amanda for fighting with a gash like that
Jesus.
over her eye. You can nearly see her brain. Mate, them two have just got the recipe for entertainment.
They're brilliant. Like, you get very, very rarely, but when it does work, when boxing jails people like that together, they're made for each other. 10 times out of 10, that would be like must-watch TV. And their styles clash perfectly. The 2-minute rounds works perfectly. 3-minute rounds, we never get this much excitement with 3-minute rounds with them. They are just made for each other. Croke Park in the third would be special just from an Irish point of view. Katy retiring and sailing off into the sunset for me as the greatest ever would be perfect, and again from an Irish point of view, because then I think nothing can get close to her. Maybe Calista Shields, but you know, them two together is a match made in heaven.